Tonight on Prime Edition, we are engaging the Principal Secretary, State Department for Petroleum, Mohamed Liban, who joins us on set. Thank you very much, PS, for joining us.
Hassan.
To our first question, really, start by defining for us the mandate of the State Department for Petroleum.
The State Department of Petroleum is actually governed by regulations, the three regulations. The first one is Petroleum Importation Regulation, which was enacted 2023. Which is actually dealing with importation of the fuel products. Then we have Petroleum Pricing Regulation, which was enacted 2022, also dealing with the pricing of the petroleum products. Then we have Petroleum Liquefied Petroleum Gas Regulation 2019. And at the same time also we have got various committees in line, with all these three regulations to ensure that, there's efficiency, effectiveness in our mandate, to do that one. So ours is basically, we are mandated, to carry our work in two sectors. The first one is upstream. Upstream is where we do the exploration of oil and gas and also production of oil and gas. Second layer of operation is downstream. Downstream is where the Kenyans have got a lot of interest in it. So this is where we have the security of supply of petroleum products, especially the super, the diesel, and also the jet fuel. We are looking at, one, the infrastructure of LPG. Infrastructure means where we can do, some construction at Mombasa Port. In Mombasa, we have Kenya Petroleum Refinery Limited, the old one, which also is a land of about 377 acres, which is unused. Two, also by using charcoal and firewood, they are also destroying our forest. The president has given us that in the next 10 years, we're supposed to plant 15 billion. So this one is in line with the presidential directives to make sure that we are looking at the climate change as well as the health of our people, to ensure that in the next maybe 3 to 5 years, then we'll be able to reach and to make sure that our Kenyans and the regions have, that particular, services efficiently, effectively. That is the vision.
And clearly you have your work cut out. What determines the cost of fuel in Kenya?
Usually when I'm talking about fuel, what comes in the mind of Kenyans are the price. And the price of fuel is actually determined by two factors. One is the global price, and second is the local price. Okay? The global price is that, if I may give you the statistics, of the top 5 crude oil producers in the world, USA is 14.7%. Saudi Arabia is 13.2%, where we are getting our products. Russia, 12.7%. Canada, 5.7%. Iraq, 5.5%. If you put this one together, it's about 51%. And the global prices have got 3 items. The plights on the crude oil. Those who have got, petrol, they can use it the way they want. Okay? From the crude, the buyers will now refine it. That one has what got all the cost. So the global price is determined by the price of the crude, which is in terms of Platts, and then the refineries and whatever uses, the freight, the transportation, and also the premium is the cost, for the refinery. So there are 3. These ones are basically not within our reach as a country. Also, it depends, with also other factors in it. Okay? Whereby when it comes, we have got the KPA who also needs, their fees to be done. KPC also the same. Okay? If the war is there, it will go up. It is just a matter of demand and supply which is being disrupted by that. It is internal at the same time also external. So those are actually the indicators that make us, to make, our prices, to go up or to go down. Yeah.
How does Kenya's pricing of fuel compare to neighboring countries?
When we started, last year, when this government came in place, there's what we usually do what we call spot purchases. So these spot purchases, when they brought it now to Kenya Port Authority there, okay, they find that the prices are fluctuating. It is not harmonized, okay, and then this product has to be paid within 3 to 5 days. If not, it's going to have, challenges. So we converted, to what we call to G2G, which we are going to discuss that, okay? So in that case, one way of doing it is that government to government will harmonize, okay, these prices, because we will be able to talk. Individual person, if you'll be giving me, that bit today, and I'm contented, and then I said, hey, today I'm not going to give you that, what will happen to this country? Shortage, and also when there's shortage, there will be high prices. But when we compare our neighboring, because I don't want to talk, for that, whatever, but our prices are usually cheaper, especially if you remove, the levies and whatever. It is cheaper when it comes to the landed. So the landed cost is usually cheaper.
Now that you mentioned G2G PS, the big question in the minds of Kenyans is, did Kenyans get value for money in the G2G deal?
I can say comfortably, say that, we got the value for that. Because last year part one, when actually this administration came into being, there was a lot of crisis. You remember even before the election, April 2021, people used, to use jerkin to look for petrol elsewhere because there was shortage, one. Two, people, there was no, dollars, to purchase. So people are scrambling, to get dollars. So what the DG did is that, one, with government to government, there's that talk at high level that if we need enough products, we need, maybe a product, to be advanced, it can be done. There's that flexibility. If we want to have got plenty, we can stop it for a time. There's that dialogue between it. But the two major things in G2G is that, one, we made, some changes in our open tender system. It used to be purchasing, this product using US dollar. So we made that variation to make sure that our oil marketers are able to pick their product using Kenya shillings up to now. Two, we asked, the Saudi government to give us a gracing period for managing this dollar. That at least, initially we said 1 year, we said 9 months, we said 6 months, but finally we agreed on 6 months so that they will be able, to bring their product without charging us. Because initially, under spot purchases, we usually pay that, them immediately. And the dollar requirement at that time was $500 million US, which is required per month by these oil marketers. If dollar is not available, what will happen? People has got no power to purchase, then this country, will become dry. So the most important thing for these two Gs, as from last year and even today, there's never been any shortage of petrol product in Kenya as well as the region because of the G2G concept, we are doing.
On pricing, the Treasury says that the economy is doing well and we've started seeing gains when it comes to the Kenya shilling. Are we out of the woods yet?
For oil prices, I've actually given you the parameters. If it is international, if the war in Ukraine is still on, that's not concluded. The Hamas and the Palestinians is still ongoing, okay? So I said, if the war actually stops, that the price of this will come down, okay? But for our case, is that we have got a lot of hope in that line. We have seen at least the progress in terms of our shillings, appreciating. These are several factors, not only just fuel, because it's a macro issue, okay? In terms of our products, remember, agriculture is what actually driven the economy of this country, okay? We had a lot of challenges, in terms of agricultural exports. Now, agriculture is thriving. Fuel oil is now coming down. The Kenya shillings is now appreciating. So we have got a hope, to move together as a country, yeah. But of course, looking and monitoring about all those indicators, which I said has got some direct impact or indirect impact on the fuel prices. Yeah.
How are you dealing with the issues of regulation? Because there have been issues raised of, rogue importers or rogue marketers.
In terms of regulation of fuel and energy, it is not directly under the department of that one. It has got its own authority. EPRA, that is Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, that determines actually the pricing and also the regulation of this. Because I said that, we have got this 3 regulations, the one on pricing for fuel, the one for importation, and also the one for LPG. So EPRA is mandated as an authority to oversee that, but the ministry is working in collaboration with EPRA in terms of policy changes and in terms of advisory. So EPRA alone cannot do it alone. They have to work it, with other multi-agency.
The National Oil Corporation came up for the state entities being privatized. What thinking went into the privatization of?
Before I answer that, privatization part of it is that in this country we have got about over 300 parastatals. Parastatals are there to support the government in terms of services and in terms of also revenue. If you look at now our parastatals we have, they're about over 300. I can say almost a half of these parastatals, they are liability to the government. Because, they have the directors, they have the board, they have the management. Some of them, they cannot sustain themselves. Okay? So what are they doing? They are now depending on the exchequer. The small revenue we collect is the one, to pay them. But ideally, parastatals are supposed, to support their staff, their activities, and also on a yearly basis, they can give, some dividends to the government so that the government can improve, the service delivery in terms of social activities and also economic activities. So the idea of privatization is not, to stop it. Maybe the government policy is that the ones which are not doing much, either they can be closed. The ones who think, can be merged with others, they can be merged. The ones that are now doing maybe some profit, they can improve on that so that, the government will not be able always pay for them, but able to support it.
Let's deal with upstream now, Bwana PS. Oil exploration or petroleum exploration in Kenya. Kenyans have heard about Lokichar, Ngamia 1, and in the last administration, there was a lot of fanfare around, that oil and its commercial viability. Where are we so far?
But before I answer that one, let me just give you a little bit of a history, how the oil exploration started. The first activity started in 1975. That's almost about 40 years ago. Okay? Since 1975 up to 2012, we had nothing. There was no prospect. Contractors were given, this, the contract. They are looking for it. So in our product sharing contract with them is that if they go and drill, it's up to them. If they get nothing, there's no expense on Kenyans. If they get something, then that's the time, we come to how we're going to share, what we have actually gotten from that place. So from 1975 out to 2012, there was nothing. But from 2012, there was a prospect. In 2020, now, there was the first oil which was being produced. This one, that commercial, part of it was not for commercially, viable. We got it, and then we wanted maybe to study it, to market it, to see the quality of our products. So because we didn't have, the pipeline, it was actually being moved by trucks. And Kenyans were excited, including also me, to make sure that at least, there was something. But that was the beginning. Came 2021, we went into our elections. Our election is just do and die, isn't it? So everything stops after 2022. And then when this administration came in, also, there's a severe drought. The priority changes. Until last year, at least God give us the rain in June, and now everything has started. So we also now started reviving the project that for us, to kickstart, there's what we call field development plan. Field development plan was supposed to be submitted, by the contractor to EPRA as per the regulation. EPRA is supposed, to study. So what they have done so far is they have now recruited 3 experts. One is technical experts to look at the technical part of this product. 2 is the legal framework on this. And then the third one is on commercial aspect. So once these 3 experts look at their own skills and analysis, they're supposed to submit it, to the Cabinet Secretary for Energy for 1 month, so that now the ministry will look at it together with the stakeholders, the reports given by the 3 consultants. So when this one is being approved, then the second stage, it has to go to the parliament for approval. Once the parliament approves, then it will go to another stage called FID, final investment decisions. This one, we are looking at so many things, the logistics, the operations, and that one will take about 1 year. Once we are done with that one, then we'll be able now to do our first productions. That is the process.
Cooking gas, or what you would call clean cooking, was one of the promises made by this administration. How are we faring in terms of actualizing that promise?
I said last year the government has given us the LPG growth strategy document. That was October last year. This one is also in line with the climate initiatives to making sure that we make, our environment safe, and to make sure that there will be no cutting of trees or charcoal, to make sure that we plant the 15 billion in the next 10 years, so that Kenya becomes also benefit from carbon credit. Yes.
As we wind up, PS, your State Department has a lot to do with issues surrounding the cost of living, and Kenyans have a lot of expectations on you. On that camera, your very last word, of course, what is your promise to Kenyans?
Kenyans, there's a lot of hope to make sure that and on the side of fuel pricing, the government has already initiated, the Petroleum Development Levy. This levy is actually from diesel 5.4 and also petrol 5.4. On a monthly basis, we are getting about 2.3, 2.4 billion, and that billion is what usually cushions our customers from a spike of this. So in terms of that one, then, as long as, we have that fund, which actually comes from us, to make sure that Kenyans will not be suffering from this. A lot of hope. We are moving forward, and we are actually thinking that in future, Kenya will be able to get affordable, pricing in line with that, hoping that, the war in Europe and also in the Middle East will calm down. And now there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of encouragement even from our own government that we'll be able to move together as one team so that we support each other. So this ministry is there to support you, to work with all the partners, with all the policyholders and the stakeholders, to make sure that we give what Kenyans demand from us in terms of that. Thank you.
Mohamed Liban is the Principal Secretary, State Department for Petroleum, and really taking us through the mandate of that State Department and what needs to be done and what obviously is being done to help you live a sustainable life and a beautiful life in Kenya. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you, PS. God bless you. Asante.